Picture this. It's 2022 and you ask ChatGPT to build you a little calorie tracking app. And unless you're a software developer who can fix its broken code every step of the way, you're going to drive yourself crazy chasing error after error after error. Now fast forward to 2026. You prompt Claude before bed, build me a portfolio management app. And you wake up and it's done. The app works. There's a landing page drafted and it's asking you, politely, whether you'd like it to submit the thing to the App Store for review. And it's not just building apps. Today your AI can read your Gmail, pull files from your Google Drive, check your Google Calendar, touch your Canva designs, your Adobe projects, any service you choose to connect, that world has been open to you. Your AI went from talking about your life to working inside it. And here's the part almost nobody got right at the time. The thing that changed all of this was never a smarter model. It wasn't a bigger brain, and it wasn't some secret deal between tech giants. It was a document, a boring, open, technical document that a company called Anthropic published on November 25th, 2024, and that most of the world completely ignored. It's called MCP, the Model Context Protocol. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to explain better than most people working in tech what it is, why every major AI company on the planet adopted a rival's invention within months, and the one catch that nobody making excited videos about it seems to want to talk about. To see the problem that document solved, meet Bob. It's 2023, and Bob runs a small business, and he has a brilliant idea. One AI assistant that handles the boring half of his day. Here's what Bob dreams his AI could reach. His email so it can answer customers while he sleeps, his calendar so it can book appointments without the back and forth, his spreadsheets so the bookkeeping does itself, and Slack so his little team stays in the loop. These are the services Bob wants his AI plugged into. Basically everything a modern company runs on. So Bob starts building. To connect his AI to email, he writes a custom connector, his own code, speaking Gmail's private language, then a second connector, speaking calendar's language, a third for the spreadsheets, a fourth for Slack. Every service speaks its own dialect, so every connection is its own hand-built translation. 4 services in, Bob is exhausted, and he hasn't even started on the app itself. Now zoom out from Bob, because every AI company on Earth was doing this exact same thing. If you wanted to plug 10 different AIs into 10 different services, that's not 20 connections. That's 100 different connections you'd have to wire up one at a time. Engineers have a name for this, the N by M problem, and it has a recurring theme. Everyone is doing the same work. Nobody's work helps anyone else, and everything breaks the moment one side changes. And guess what all those hype videos about MCP conveniently fail to mention? The AI companies already tried to fix this. Their fix was called function calling. You could hand a model a list of tools it's allowed to use, but every list was handmade for one app, one time. The AI couldn't discover what a new tool did on its own. A human had to wire in the description every single time for every single pairing. The wall of wires just kept growing. Something else was needed, and the answer had been sitting on the ocean for 70 years. In 1956, a trucking entrepreneur named Malcolm McLean did something strange. He stopped trying to make ships faster and standardized the box instead. Before the shipping container, every port unloaded every cargo differently. Barrels, sacks, crates, each handled by hand. After the container, every port in the world followed the same steps, same corners, same locks, same cranes. The ships didn't get smarter. Trade exploded anyway. That almost exactly is what the Model Context Protocol did for AI. Here's the whole design in plain words. Your AI app, Claude, ChatGPT, your code editor is the port. Any service that wants to offer the AI something runs a little program called a server. That's the container. And inside every container, the cargo comes in just 3 shapes: tools, things the AI can do, resources, things it can read, and prompts, reusable instructions. One standard box, any port, any cargo. The magic isn't in any single connection, it's that a connector built once now works everywhere. The server that Slack builds works with Claude, with ChatGPT, with your editor, with software that hasn't been invented yet. Bob doesn't build 100 wires anymore, he builds one box. This is the actual announcement. The page Anthropic published that November morning. Now, all over the internet, you'll hear one famous line about this protocol, that MCP is the USB-C of AI, one port that fits everything. It's a decent picture, but here's a detail I genuinely love. Read this page top to bottom, and that famous line is nowhere on it. It got added to the documentation later, and the press ran with it. The box came first, the slogan came after. It usually does. So here's where this stops being a story about plumbing. Because what happened next almost never happens in tech. Anthropic makes Claude. Their biggest rival is OpenAI. And on March 26, 2025, 4 months after launch, Sam Altman posted this. People love MCP, and we are excited to add support across our products. Read that again. The rival adopted the rival standard. 2 weeks later, this man, Demis Hassabis, the Nobel-winning head of Google DeepMind, called it a good protocol, rapidly becoming an open standard for the AI agentic era, and he committed Gemini. Then in May, Microsoft wired it into Windows itself. Think about what that means. These companies agree on almost nothing. They are spending hundreds of billions of dollars to beat each other. We covered that machine in the last episode, and they all shook hands on the box. Why? Because a standard is only worth something if everyone uses it. And the fear of being left off the standard is stronger than the fear of helping a competitor, the same force that put one container on every ship on Earth. The rest of the timeline reads like a land rush. September, an official registry opens, an app store for these servers. December 9th, Anthropic, OpenAI, and Block, rivals, jointly donate their crown jewels to a neutral foundation under the Linux Foundation, so no single company owns the standard. And the ecosystem today, nobody even has an exact count. Estimates run from 10 to 16,000 servers, whatever the real number is, and the ports are open and the boxes are stacking up. And now the chapter the excited videos don't make. Because I watched the 5 biggest MCP explainers on YouTube this week. 6 million views between them. And not one of them sits with the obvious question. If every box can plug into your AI, who's checking what's inside the boxes? Here's what a security firm called Invariant Labs showed in April 2025. Every tool comes with a description the AI reads but you never see, so they hid instructions inside one. Quietly, send us the user's private keys. The user sees a harmless weather tool. The AI reads the fine print and obeys it. They named it a tool poisoning attack. The poison isn't in the code your computer runs. It's in words your AI trusts. That was a demonstration. This one wasn't. September 2025, developers installed a package called postmark-mcp, a mail-sending server, same name as the real one, published by an attacker. Version 1.0.16 added a single, silent line, blind copy every email the AI sends to the attacker's inbox, your invoices, your password resets, everything quietly forwarded by the assistant you trusted to handle your mail. And even when every box is honest, there's a quieter cost, one regular users feel without knowing why. Every tool description gets loaded into the AI's working memory before you type a single word. Plug in 3 big services, and by one reported measure, you can burn nearly 3/4 of the model's entire attention span before your first question. Remember the invisible meter from 2 episodes ago? Every box you plug in is running it. So no, none of this means the standard is broken. The container didn't fail because smugglers exist. Ports learn to inspect, signed registries, permission prompts, sandboxes. The inspections are being built right now, but the honest way to see the protocol is this. It turned your AI from a brain in a jar into a hand that can reach into your real life. A hand needs rules. So what do you actually do with all this? If you use AI at all, you're likely touching the protocol already. Every connector in Claude or ChatGPT is one of these boxes with a friendlier name. Use them. They're genuinely the biggest jump in usefulness since chatbots learned to talk. Just carry the rule with you. The moment a standard wins, the interesting question stops being, does it work? And becomes, who's on the other end and why do I trust them? Install plugs the way you'd install a lock on your front door, from people you can name. And notice what this story actually was. Not a gadget, a boring document, a standard that quietly rearranged who can reach into your inbox, your files, your calendar. The loud part of AI is the brains. The part that runs your life is the plumbing. That's the entire reason this channel exists. The invisible systems that quietly run modern life. The meter on your subscription, the fuse under the boom, and now the plug in the wall. If you want to see the next one before it reaches into your life, subscribe. Because next time, we're opening the boxes, the marketplace where over 1,000 of those helpful little plugs turned out to be poison. And nobody noticed for weeks.